This subject of my presentation is the factors that drive environmental collaboration and the role that IES in the supply chain integration capability plays. I have made an industry survey and I will present the first results of this. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that my colleague is Catherine Romari is my supervisor in my PhD. Okay. Do you
want to tell us the
yes, well, I think this
or you could just use the up and down arrows too. But it can set to run automatically. If it sets automatically.
Okay, let's start on the motivation of this survey came directly from the fast-moving consumer goods industry, where the collaboration for addressing environmental issues among supply chain partners has come to forefront. Retailers and suppliers are willing to collaborate in order to enable measuring and monitoring energy consumption and carbon footprint across supply chain, and at the same time reduce their environmental impacts. So, okay, what is this? Sorry. So, take into account this content, three research questions raised. This is what may lead these companies to collaborate in order to address environmental issues, what enables them to do this, and if at the final the sharing of information, environmental information affects firm's performance. These are the three questions that we try to address. Looking at the literature, the role of collaboration to facilitate in the environmental practices has been examined. The results show that collaboration facilitates the implementation of various environmental practices, and at the same time it has the environmental performance. Moreover, there are some references that supports that the sharing of environmental information are closely related to the image of the films, and they will help them to align with the international regulatory requirements. I got them too fast? Okay. Even though the environmental collaboration has been imposed by many earlier efforts, there wasn't a clear definition of this. So back when Klassen first time introduced the environmental collaboration and defined this as the activities that comprise a direct involvement of the buying organization with its suppliers to jointly develop environmental solutions. But this definition does not include activities that are related with information sharing. Those in our research introduce the concept of sharing of environmental information, and these include activities of information sharing with supply chain partners in order both to monitor the energy consumption and carbon emissions across supply chain. Okay. But is there any relationship between environmental collaboration and the sharing of environmental information? Okay, let's see if there is. Boyle and al. supports that collaboration could facilitate the communication and the information exchange between supply chain partners. So, excuse me, I don't know what's happening. Press this one and then I press. When I use the arrows, something.
Technology.
But use, I'm not sure today. Okay, so the first two concepts in our research model is information collaboration and the sharing of environmental information. But seeing this model someone could wonder, what makes someone to collaborate? Okay. Give me some minutes to see something. Sorry. Let me just. It's better. Okay.
You've got the timings on it, it's going to change.
Okay. You can. Never mind. No, it's not any based on time. It's just, yes.
It's just
count my time. It helps your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Environmental orientation, environmental consciousness, and the environmental strategy that an organization has identified by earlier science as important factors that drive the implementation of environmental practices. Although there is Valentin has introduced the concept of corporate environmentalism that integrates both environmental strategy and environmental orientation. They defined corporate environmentalism as the recognition of the importance of environmental issues facing the field and the integration of these issues to their strategic plans. Here you can see the different dimensions of corporate environmentalism. I will not explain each of them. Okay, I said only some of these. Environmental orientations is defined as the recognition by managers of the importance that environmental issues has facing their peers, and based on its focus, it is differentiated in internal and external. On the other hand, environmental strategy is defined as the extent to which environmental issues are integrated with the field's strategic plans, and it is differentiated in corporate and marketing. So we have a broad scope of orientations and strategies. Thus, we introduce another core construct in our model, and someone's wonder, what if what happens if someone already collaborates with their partners? Is it more possible to collaborate in order to address environmental issues? Literature supports that collaboration and partnering relationships with suppliers facilitate the introduction of green supply chain practices and the implementation of cooperative practices like recycling. Those introduce one more. But until now, I have only things about environmental collaboration, and we have not seen any relationship between that affects the sharing of environmental information. We think that the integration capabilities that an organization has will play an important role. Those we looked in the literature, and literature supports that the integration capabilities affects the information exchange positively, and also the process integration has enables the information sharing. So we used two integration capabilities that Ray et al. Proposed. The IT integration capabilities is defined as the degree to which a focal field has established IT capabilities for the consistent and high velocity transfer of supply chain related information within and across its boundaries, and the process integration capability, which is defined as the degree to which a focal field has integrated its physical and information flow with its supply chain partners. One more concept has introduced in our research model. And the last issue that we try to address in this survey is the relationship between information sharing, the sharing of environmental information, and the field performance. Earlier effort shows that information sharing can can improve the performance, and that there is a close relationship between environmental practices and also the film's performance. This is the one. This is our complete model, and now we want to find a construct to measure all this and find the appropriate items. We use this construct with these measurements. I will get through all of them. Okay. This is the rest. And here is the detailed research model based on the hypothesis that we have formulated based on what I have said to you until now. Here you can see the major concepts that I already presented to you. This is the hypothesis that came up. The rest of them. And regarding the data collection process, this survey was conducted or is conducted because it started in March, but it's still running, and we will end up on July. It was conducted at European level, and it was supported by ICR Europe, which is the major European organization that supports collaborative projects between suppliers and retailers in order to address various different problems. The sample population was obtained from the ICR Europe members list, and the respondents should be either environmental managers or supply chain managers. Here is our sample. We have 70 responses until now. As you can see, most of them are suppliers and manufacturers, and most of them came from Greece. Although the majority of them represent either multinational, the headquarters of multinational companies, or the local office of multinational companies, so we can generalize the results in some extent. Here, as you can see, over 90% of the respondents belong to the high or senior or middle management, and they work in either supply chain department or the environmental management department. Although we can see some more departments, as in 20% of the firms that took part in the survey, a team of people that work in different departments collaborate in order to provide us with more accurate responses. We used PLS analysis in order to examine our research model. Here you can see the results. We have 5 significant relationships, which means that the incorporations of environmental issues into strategy of the firms has a close relationship with environmental collaborations, but it seems that if someone already collaborates with its partner, it's not so important in order to start to collaborate in order to address this kind of issues. Also, we see that environmental collaborations and also these integration capabilities relates, and these relationships has big significance with the sharing of environmental information, and this kind of information sharing could have a good result to a firm's performance. And concluding, summarizing what I have said until now, in this research we investigate the role of corporate environmentalism as undescended of environmental collaboration. We also explore the concept of environmental collaboration and expand it by using the information sharing and look at this relationship. We also highlight the role that we play IS-enabled supply chain integration capabilities in the information sharing, and also we address this relationship by using empirical data. And I will close my presentation by giving you some more practical results based on both on the results of the survey and on my insight of this it seems that collaboration with environmental issues is not from here. Most of the firms are already considered to collaborate with their partners in order to address environmental issues, to increase their environmental performance, and at the same time, of course, to have better economic indexes, because they should go together. Although we see that most of the firms are not willing, or they think that the information sharing would be something that would be implemented not now, but from 1 to 3 years. This is probably due to the absence of infrastructures that provide the ability to collaborate with their partners or monitor the energy consumption or enable information sharing. So there are enough efforts in this area that try to provide technological infrastructures, and I work on one of these projects. We try to address these issues, and this will be my context for dealing with this research and see how these things that I study progress over time. I conclude with the acknowledgements of my scholarship. Some indicative references. Thank you for your attention. Questions and comments are more than welcome.
Can you show us some questions about how you measure environmental orientation or environmental strategy?
Yes.
What kind of questions do you ask? Are there standard questions?
Yes, there are standard questions.
Okay.
There is a skill that was made by Paneche.
Okay.
So it was published in one of the top journals, so
okay.
I think that is valid. I can show you some of the items if you're interested.
I can see the data, that's fine.
And could you just be clearer about what you mean by information sharing versus the process that the firms have to go through to collaborate anyway on the supply chain? I'm not quite sure what
The discrepancy between...
No, I just don't, you try to making that a dependent variable, but I don't really understand how that's different than what they have to do anyway in order to be able to be part of the supply chain. What exactly do you mean by information sharing?
I mean, the ability, the practice that an organization follow to change information about environmental impacts and the energy consumption that consumed during their process or for producing their products to their supply chain partners. In order, the overall goal is, if we have a network, each node of this network to provide the other with his current environmental impact and his current environmental burden, in order at the end to summarize this and know which is the environmental impact and the environmental indices of this specific product.
Okay.
This is
that's the information sharing.
Yeah, this is the information sharing, and there is great interest in order to, because now most of the suppliers or retailers or most of the companies can measure the things that are in their scope. When they collaborate with other people, they didn't know what happened then.
Right.
this is the problem.
Right.
This is the problem when they collaborate with outsourced 3PL companies. They don't know how much does it cost environmentally, the transportation of their products.
Okay. Yeah.
This is driven from this kind of problems.
Yeah. You may want to follow something like footprint information or something like that.
Yes.
It just seems to, it's not clear what that is. Maybe it's clear in Greek, but in English it seems.
Carbon footprint.
So a carbon footprint sharing or something along those lines is what your objective is, right?
So it's narrower than just information in general. It's information about certain things.
Yes, it's information in its entire level. It's all and it's all. Okay, I forgot to say the last thing. As in more researches, there are limitations, and one of this is that we examine all information sharing of carbon emissions and energy consumption because this seems to be the most important these days when we have some discussions, like interviews with some stakeholders in this domain. They identify that carbon emissions and energy consumption are the most important information that they need from their partners in the current phase. Maybe in the next years, waste is maybe become one of these, but that's why we choose this one, because in the other there will be no sense to the answers.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.